When Volkswagen launched its Atlas for 2018, there was a question on many people's minds: who wants to really buy a great big Volkswagen? Well, as it turns out, quite a few. And then there was another question for 2020 when they pulled the wraps off the Cross Sport Atlas. Who really wants a swoopy two-row version of the Atlas? Same answer. This car has been a big runaway success for Volkswagen, and the Cross Sport accounts for about a third of all Atlas sales. Which isn't surprising because this sort of swoopy, cool, upscale SUV coupe thing is an interesting niche that a lot of people like. This one behind me is the top trim exec line. It starts at about $54,000. It's optioned out to $56,000. So let's see how this thing stacks up. Like the Audi Q8, the Atlas Cross Sport avoids the dramatic fastback rooflines of the BMW and Mercedes offerings for a more sensible profile. And sensible this vehicle is. Riding on Volkswagen Group's corporate MQB platform, this Chattanooga-built Cross Sport shares the three-row Atlas's wheelbase and track, yet is a little bit shorter and a little bit lower. However, by removing the third row, this allowed Volkswagen to slide the Cross Sport's second row back a bit, liberating an additional 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters of legroom. Yep, it is NBA grade back here. Plus, there's a big flat cargo space beyond the second row. Flip that 60/40 row forward and we get a class-leading 2,200 liters. You'll find a 12-volt outlet back there, but no underfloor storage. There's a more aggressive bumper, standard LED headlights, and a 3-bar grille. There's new rear lights and a fresh rear bumper spruce out the back end, and we also see some model-specific chrome trim on the lower body sides and around the windows. All Canadian market Cross Sports get 4Motion all-wheel drive with a drive select mode that offers on-road, snow, off-road, and off-road individual settings, and an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power comes from either a 235 horsepower 2-liter turbo 4, or, with this model, the optional 276 horsepower naturally aspirated narrow angle V6. Pricing for the Cross Sport starts at $38,995 for the base trendline. Move up through the Comfort line and High line and we arrive at this exec line V6 that starts at $54,495. As might be expected, this variant comes with all the trimmings, 20-inch wheels, standard leather, a full suite of driver's aids, 8-inch touchscreen infotainment with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a really good 12-speaker Fender audio system. Also included are panoramic sunroof, ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel, 360-degree camera, and Volkswagen's digital cockpit. Out on the road, the Atlas Cross Sport feels like, well, a very big Volkswagen. There's an inherent crispness to the way it drives, shows decent body control and a certain eagerness for the corners. Yeah, sure, it's no GTI, but there is some of that DNA baked into this SUV. And I did mention this thing is huge, right? From behind the wheel, you could be forgiven for thinking you're driving a full-size pickup, such as the width of the cabin and the expanse of the blocky hood ahead. Sightlines are good from up here. Ride quality is pretty good, but there are a few rough edges when the road surface deteriorates. I suspect these optional 21-inch wheels are responsible for some of the extra clumping and thumping. Away from that, occupants will find the Cross Sport quite coddling. The front seats are broad and pleasingly firm, and backseat riders enjoy nicely contoured seats as well, and they are heated and recline. Factor in the 2 USB-C ports and the outrageous legroom, and you shouldn't be hearing too many complaints from back here. Hop into this exec line's cabin and the burgundy leather door cards and seat inserts give a sumptuous first impression. The 10.1-inch virtual gauge cluster is crisp and modern, and you can tailor the display to see different gauges, fill it in with a nav map, get more detail, or simply leave the whole thing almost blank with just a few readouts. We also get Volkswagen's latest MIB3 interface that sports some pretty cool features like gesture control, wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, 36 radio presets that include all sources AM/FM satellite, and the ability to rewind a live song that's playing on the radio. Of course, all this would be for naught if the audio system was crap. But Volkswagen comes through with an excellent 12-speaker Fender badge system that kicks out clean, punchy, and even sound. Another pleasant surprise is the richness of the satellite radio sound. Usually this is the first thing to sync a good audio system due to the compressed tinniness of the signal. The cabin design is businesslike and angular in that Volkswagen way, and while the ergonomics are good, there's just a little bit too much of the cheap plastic showing for a 50 grand plus vehicle. In light of what's coming out of Korea these days, it's time for Volkswagen to up the game here, starting with ditching these flimsy HVAC controls. They feel pretty cheap. So if you don't really need the third row, this sportier, more style-conscious Atlas starts to make a lot of sense. For Driving.ca, I'm Peter Blakeney, and for more SUV reviews and information, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter.